It's getting harder to breathe.
Why is it getting so hard to breathe?
Because I got a foot in the rib and a head in the pelvis.
And is that because you two have something in common?
Yeah, Alex.
Just
and
a
I
little
are
bit.
2 peas in a pod.
2 pregs in a pod.
2 prigs in a podcast.
We are due on the same day.
That's right.
We are. February 2nd.
I know what you were doing 10 months ago.
Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to us.
Was it Mother's
It
Day?
was. Yep.
What?
I don't know. We
no.
were...
Oh, you were. It was
it?
close.
It was right after.
Marissa's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty
anyway,
close.
that was a fun...
That was a great Mother's Day present.
It was. Were you planning?
We were at the pet store.
Yeah,
We got a stork.
we did. I remember. It was...
So
felt like yesterday.
this is your second time on,
Yes.
Welcome back, Alexandra
Thanks for having
Medina.
me.
and
thank you.
last time we talked about modern day birthing, motherhood, medicine. A lot's changed. I guess. Did you have Sonny yet?
Yes.
So you did have number 4.
We
number
had
5's
yeah.
on his way.
Number 5 is on his or her way.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't
It's a big
know.
surprise. What is?
Surprise, surprise.
What's the biggest takeaway or differences you're going into this pregnancy than the other 4?
Just that I've done all the different kinds of births now. So it's just like, we're rolling with it. I've seen my midwife 3 or 4 times. Like, I don't really need anybody. She's my security blanket. She's a very expensive security blanket, but
She's a thunder coat.
she is. She's just there to be sure that everything goes well.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I don't feel comfortable enough to free birth unless obviously like it happens. Like I thought about it during that snowstorm. I was like, well, if I go into labor, we having a baby
Same.
by ourselves.
Same.
No one can drive.
Yeah. We thought the same thing. We were like, okay, I guess we'll just do it.
Yep. I mean, that is what we were put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
You know, God designed us to do that, but the medical interventions have become just the normal way of life. And so we have removed ourselves from the instinctual side of it, which makes it harder. But I've come full circle from my first birth of your producer, my eldest daughter, full hospital birth, all the protocols, epidural, Pitocin, the whole 9, to now just waiting for the baby to show up and having...
Wow, how unprofessional.
My sister always sneaks through on the calls.
Go ahead, put
Sorry, I
it on.
can't.
I'll just put it on
I have
speaker.
it. I have it on
you have
sleep
disturb?
mode.
She must be a favorite.
She's called twice.
When you call twice, it bursts through the
Burst.
wall.
She's not
Bursts.
supposed to.
But she knows the trick. So she goes, if Steph doesn't answer the first time, I'm going to hang up, call immediately again, and then it
Yeah.
goes through. It's an emergency. Like
Yeah, my
breakthrough.
ringer is off. I'm on sleep mode, which is like the strongest do not disturb, and she still gets
But
through.
your
It's
watch was
disturbing.
on.
This is true.
My watch doesn't. I don't have it set up.
It wasn't? Oh, that's what it sounded like, a watch ring.
It was my watch ring.
So how does that make sense?
So how does
I don't know.
All right. Sounds
My
good.
watch never rings.
Can you
Anyway,
turn me up a
let's
little
see
bit?
if we can.
I know I share with you.
If we can get that
4.
to not. Go ahead.
All right. What were we talking about?
If we had to have our baby free birth.
Oh yeah, if we were gonna have snow babies, they were gonna be
Free birth.
free
yeah.
birthing frosties.
So Frankie was all the things: Pitocin, epidural. You went through the
Everything that was recommended to me, I did.
and then
Now I do absolutely nothing.
you had RJ. RJ, you were like ready. I thought you were going to birth him right then, and then did they pressure you to do the epidural or?
No, it just got really hard. And like
Yeah.
I was not as educated as I am now. And when I was like starting to puke and starting to be like intense, I was like, okay, I need the epidural. If I would have just probably hung on for 30 more minutes, I would have been like, hey, here's my baby.
Yeah.
I mean, he was super easy birth. I was super in good shape, and just he was a week, 8 days late. But yeah, no, he was my easiest birth so far.
And then Charlie.
And then Charlie,
Was your longest birth?
longest, my belly was like a football, watermelon. And I was 10 or 12 days past due. And we went to the hospital for the NST, which is a non-stress test. And my doctor was on call, and she was like, well, I could just break your water and we can just have this baby today. And my mother, whom I love with all my heart, just is a lot more cautious and has more fears around that stuff than I did. But I was like, okay, fine, let's have the baby, you know? And so we did. And then she has shoulder dystocia, which was fun. But she's good. She was also 11 pounds. So she was definitely fully cooked, but she was not obviously in like the perfect position to be able to have a baby. And then...
and for people who don't know what shoulder dystocia is,
it's the baby basically gets stuck.
in like the hip.
The hip in the birthing canal, the shoulders stuck basically. And I had a medical, I don't know if it was a doctor or student, just basically like, bam, jumped on my stomach and bam, the baby came out. But my doctor was really good. She was very calm. She never let me know like that anything was wrong, which is great, you know, she's a good doctor.
Did you have an epidural with Charlie?
Yep.
Okay.
And the things that I know now, if I didn't have the epidural, I would have been able to like move and, you know, you can maneuver yourself to open your hips more. But I was, you know, hospital birth on my back, like just, they were like, push. And I was like, I am, you know, I mean, I don't know. And so, you know, she came out, she was 11 pounds. Woo. I got her right away. And then they asked me like, can I have her? And I was like, we need to check her. And they took her and like, everybody's just kind of like talking. And I was like, is my baby okay? Like, what's happening? And they were like, well, she's fine on my stethoscope, but on this, you know, medical table or whatever, it's not registering, right? And finally I was like, is my baby okay? They're like, yeah, she's fine. I was like, okay, give her to me now. Yeah. She's mine. You know, and I remember like, gosh, I feel like 10 extra medical students like ran into to my room at the same time. It was like literally 25 people were in my birthing room, and I was like, this is so nice. They were like, shoulder dystocia, 11-pound baby, like what? So
just a bunch of random kids looking at your insides.
Yeah,
and
literally. And then after 11-pound baby just came out of there.
You're like, are you sure?
It's not normally like this, I swear.
I literally had that talk with my midwife. I was like, just so you know, there's a lot of pressure down there right now. This is not what it normally looks like.
She's like, actually, they all look like this at this time.
Yeah,
I'm
she
used
was like,
to it.
I don't care. I'm like, okay, because it's terrifying.
Talking ahead of time. By the way, before you go down there.
Before you check it out.
Yeah.
So going into Sunny then, which was midwife at home, what was the steps for you in terms of not a lot of intervention, not a lot of checkups? Like, were you wanting them and they're like, you don't need it? How did you change that?
I had a miscarriage between Charlie, who's my third, and Sunny, who's my fourth. And it was in 2020, I believe, like late 2020. And it was the height of COVID, and I didn't really have any significant signs that I had miscarried, but I had just felt like I bled a little bit one time, and the midwife was like, if it's not continuing, it's probably nothing. But at the midwife I had hired then, I decided to go to a midwife at that point because I had such a terrible experience with Charlie. Like, they were super pressuring me, and I don't do any of the traditional mainstream medical practices with my children. So I had such a hard fight at the hospital at that point. I was like, I'm never doing this again if I ever have another kid. And then COVID, I was like, oh, no, I'm going to get in the hospital, so I don't know what, not into that. But then the midwife, we were in California, they didn't even come see you till like 25 weeks. So it was all virtual appointments. And so I was like, okay.
Might as well not have one at that point.
I know. So, I mean, she was like, okay. So when my 20-week appointment came around, I was like, I do want to go because something just, I wasn't 100%. I trusted my intuition and I knew that something wasn't right. And I went there and I had to go by myself because no one's allowed to go with you in California. I don't know if it was like that everywhere, but I know California was the most strict on a lot of those things.
Yep, especially SoCal.
No, that was NorCal.
Was it?
Yeah, NorCal
I
was
know
actually.
Megan and Colin had that whole thing where she gave birth and he just was in the parking lot and had to get a text that his baby was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Marissa's similar. She did a cesarean. They made him wear masks during her. It was
Our friend Aaron. The baby was born April 24th, 2020, and she had to wear a mask during.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh. I would.
I wonder if that's what kind of opened up this whole home birth to be more mainstream.
Well, I think it
For
forced
sure.
people to just ask questions and see it, and it split a medical
It did. It really
perspective
did.
down the middle.
Because birth and pregnancy is a stage of life for a woman. We've medicalized it. People think it's a medical event, and really it's just a stage of life for women. It's for most women. It's just a stage of our life.
Yeah.
It's a cycle that we go through. I've been in this cycle for like 13 years.
Yeah. Starting to think Bobby just likes you being pregnant.
Some men are really
He's got a DD all the time.
Maybe it's just a trick. He goes, oh no, I need to hurry up.
And then, for a year while I'm nursing, I'm having a glass or two of wine, but that's it. So, he's always got a chauffeur.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I do believe that the COVID era really split people to either go all in on medical or start to ask questions. And I don't think that was a bad move.
No.
I do believe COVID, while had a lot of terrible things happen for a lot of people, I feel like it was the catalyst that changed the trajectory of our lives. Now we homeschool, we home birth, we moved to Florida, like all those things I don't think would have happened without everything that happened in California in 2020.
Shout out Wuhan. So, too soon?
Too soon.
Shout out Newsom.
Thanks, Gavin.
Too soon. Same thing.
Oh, that's
Fauci.
true. He did clean up California and San Francisco the second Xi Jinping came.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Xi Jinping is.
It's
It's the president. Or no, isn't it the president of China?
he's the guy who started Xi Jinping Pong again.
Oh my God, we are so canceled already.
That's what we live our life now.
Xi
though.
Jinping
Live
sounds like
you're-
a dope Asian rapper. What's up? It's your boy Xi Jinping in the track.
Just live like you've already been canceled and you got nothing to worry about.
That's my life.
Seriously.
Wait, that's your life or that's your wife?
That's my life, and I'm canceled now.
I don't cancel you. Everybody else might. He gets away with stuff though. I don't know how he does it.
You just watched me do it. I mean, I don't have anything cancelable. I don't
Exactly.
have a TV
Like,
show.
right?
I'm sure they could find a way.
We're in Florida. Don't let any group text get leaked. And I don't
You
plan on
could-
running for president.
You could
but-
never
Right.
run for president.
You don't want to.
Yeah, I don't. Who wants that job?
Who? Wuhan wants to.
Nobody
So-
wants that job except Donald
Yeah,
Trump
it's true.
and JD Vance probably.
Yeah, very true.
He was so cute with his little kids at the inauguration. Did you see
Saw
that?
that.
Have you watched the movie about his life?
No, I need to.
It's good.
Is it good?
So it makes you when you see Usha, his
Yeah.
wife, and all that together. It's cool to see the full story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to real life.
It's a good movie.
But let's talk more about babies. You were
yeah.
talking about the 25 weeks they didn't even talk to you yet because it's all virtual.
Right. Oh yeah. And then I went and had my excuse me.
COVID.
I went and
There's just
had
a lot of mucus when you're pregnant. It's
That
like
is
you
true.
drown
Oh,
in
and they
it.
say mucus plug, you just cough it out.
Wouldn't that
something
be
like
nice?
that.
Yeah.
Well, if you cough too hard, it does come out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
We haven't had that
Well,
yet.
remember, I tell people every time. Remember with Frankie, we played that game night.
Yes, you poor
like,
thing.
Yeah,
You
we were
hated us.
passing
We were
around.
passing, and we were just laughing so hard, and then I went into labor the next day. I feel
Yeah.
like just laugh, laugh. If you laugh really hard,
so if you're ticklish, just have all your best friends run in a room and tickle you until the baby pops out.
that would be so terrible.
You're just being tortured.
You can't get away.
That would
You're like
kind of be a
penguin.
distracting birth, though. It just pops out.
Oh no!
Look, it's a boy.
He's like, don't touch me.
All right. Where were we? About plugs.
Okay. Anyway,
Did you say butt plug?
I said about plugs, not a butt plugs.
I went to get my 20-week ultrasound, and there was no baby. And I think I was like 18 weeks. It was a little earlier, but I knew that there's something off.
Still having symptoms and stuff?
Like pregnancy symptoms. Yeah, I mean, I feel good though. Like pregnancy to me is like, it's really not. I don't have a lot of nausea. I don't have a lot of anything else. And
That's
But-
because you've been pregnant for 13 years.
yeah, this is true. Pregnant or breastfeeding basically for 13 years. But anyway, and I was just devastated. Like, and the doctors they're like, well, you should have a DNC, and like, I'm sorry. And first of all, I didn't even want to go inside because they made me wear a mask.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Oh, it was awful.
So what do you mean when you say there's no baby? They ultrasound and it was just like a...
Like there was my uterus was still enlarged, and there was like parts of pregnancy and signs that I was pregnant, but no, the baby was not.
progressing.
And I basically had a missed miscarriage, which means the baby stops growing, but your body is still acting pregnant. And I probably miscarried like 4 to 6 weeks before that, if not more. And so
Is that when you were spotting, you
Yeah.
think? So your body was telling you.
Yeah, my body was telling me, but it wasn't like, I had never had a miscarriage before. I didn't know. And I had asked my midwife, and she was like, well, if it was after certain things, like it could be that, it could be so many different things. She's like, but if you're still, if it's not all gushing out, basically, chances are a baby's probably fine. And baby wasn't fine. And I had a miscarriage, and I called my midwife, and she said, if it's really been like 6 weeks plus, you should probably get a DNC. And I asked her what kind of herbs I could take instead. So I started that, and I passed a little bit more, but I didn't really have a full miscarriage. That was September. I didn't have a full miscarriage until October 15th or 16th. It's like another 6 weeks. And it was, I had a home birth, just not the one that I was expecting. Yeah. And it was, I remember going into full labor, and it was hard, but it was also freeing that I trusted my body. I decided, you know what, I've made it this far. I'm not going to hospital. I've heard of complications from DNCs that they take too much, and then then you can't have another baby, And it was like, God says it's not the right time for this baby. I need to lean into that, and I need to trust him. And my midwife told me, she goes, if you do let the baby pass on their own, when your cycle comes back, you can have another baby. She's like, you can trust your body, And fast forward a year later, we got pregnant with Sunny in September or October. September, I think, end of September. And I never went to a doctor, never went to a midwife, nothing. And 2 weeks before we found out we were pregnant with Sunny, we decided we're done having kids and we're moving to Florida. Well, not Florida, but we're selling everything and we're going to go live in an RV.
Going somewhere in the South, essentially. And then trick's on you. Now you're having another one.
It was surprise. We're having another baby.
Surprise, surprise.
Exactly. And we left California, sold a house, had everything, and we lived in an RV. And I called 2 midwives. The first one wasn't taking anybody. The second one was Susie, who I am using again for the second time. And her and I just talked on the phone for an hour. We just totally hit it off. She's all my vibes. And I was like, all right, you're hired. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Susie's cool.
Yeah, I really like her. She's very hands-off, but medical if you need her. Mm-hmm. So basically, she's my security blanket. And I decided after my miscarriage, I didn't want any medical intervention. I wanted to just surrender fully my trust in the Lord and his plans more than mine. And there was a lot of inner work I had to do to get there. The miscarriage was so hard, way harder than I ever imagined it would be. But, all in God's timing.
Yeah.
And as hard as it was, it was right, So, and I leaned into just your intuition, my the design, human design, whatever you want to call it, is we were literally made to do this. And so I decided that's what I'm going to do. I didn't do anything, no ultrasounds, no nothing. And that was full circle when I had Sunny at home. It was just damn.
You did it.
It worked.
It works.
You're everything that I thought and all the negative voices saying you're crazy in your face.
And here I have this perfect 10-pound baby that I just birthed at home.
So
crazy.
It
was so cool.
You've done it now and you're going to do it again. You're doing it for the first time. I want to hear both of your sides of this. What's some of the comments that people just say?
Oh my God.
Or the fear that they push out? Because I already know a couple, but what are some of the warnings people say when they hear you're doing a home birth?
People are just annoying in general when you're pregnant. And I think they're trying to be helpful and they're genuinely curious because they couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So instead they just project everything onto you and, oh, just wait. That's my favorite. Oh, you're going to regret that. Or my favorite, which I hear all the time, is what do you do if something happens? What do you do if something goes wrong? I'm not going into this blindly. Like
Right.
I've asked these questions. These are things. That's why you have a midwife, somebody who's
She's your
trained.
security blanket.
Yeah.
And they know ahead of time, I see signs are going the wrong way. We should
Right.
probably get in the car and go to the hospital.
Exactly.
I think people's perspective is that if something goes wrong during delivery, you have like 10 seconds to save the baby.
Right.
Which I've learned is not the truth. You have signs that are letting your team know that they're looking for before you even get to that point.
Yep.
And that's why they give you a 30-minute window to a hospital.
Right.
You need to be 30 miles or 30 minutes within a closest
That's their
delivery.
ideal, right.
Because they'll know the signs before. If you're hemorrhaging, they're going to know. If the baby's had a bowel movement, they're going to know because of the color. Like they're,
Right.
if your kid is stuck, or it's mostly, I think, like the exhaustion from the mother. Like they just get to a point where they're done and they can't, they don't want to do it anymore. They're just exhausted.
Yeah.
And that's partially too because I think there's this misconception that women have to go do stuff when they start labor. Go walk the curb,
Yeah,
clean your house,
that
go to
stuff.
Target, go do all these things. When the midwives now are saying, when your contractions start, do nothing. You rest, you collect your energy, you eat, you hydrate,
Yeah.
get ready to run this marathon.
Right.
Because the old school thought is what? Force your water to break, walk the curb and do it.
Right.
Like
Curb
they
walking.
want
Go-
you to
go-
force your body to do stuff and you girls are like, why don't we just listen to our body?
Right.
I think Alex and I share a similar approach where you're more so because you've done it so many times. You know, I'm going into it a little more ignorant here, but I think we're more hands off. Like I don't want membrane sweeps. I don't want my water broken. I don't need to be checked when I'm dilated. I mean, this can all change as we get a few more weeks in, but that's where I feel I
More
want
weeks in, we
more
might have a
hands.
baby
Yeah,
tonight.
you could have a baby. I think you're having a baby next week.
I kind of think so too.
In the
but-
next 7 days.
yeah, kind of think so too.
I know Dad would be happy if you have a baby on Thursday.
I know that's your daddy's birthday.
That's what I wrote on your card
Did you?
at the baby shower. The thing I was like, you're gonna have a baby
January
on
30th.
January 30th. It's gonna be 8 pounds 3 ounces.
Oh, maybe. Wouldn't that be something?
see.
Intuitive, Alex. But yeah, I think more hands-off approach is what I want. But that's also not out of character for me. I'm not somebody who's like super involved in the medical field. I don't go to the hospital. I don't take medicine. Like it's just not. I have to be really sick or something has to be really wrong. And so it's not out of character. You know. So most of my friends understand that.
How a lot of, I'm sure your friends too, almost all have the same story of going to the hospital and like being forced into a C-section or giving
lot.
birth. Like,
A lot of
and it's not
women
even
are.
supposed to be the birthday maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just signs of starting, and it becomes
Or
like
they
we
induce
got to
them,
get this
they
baby
force
out
the
of
baby
here.
out, and then the baby's not ready to come out, and
Your
then they
heart
have to have a
rate's low.
C-section.
Exactly. It's like it's
a
clockwork.
system.
But you go in because you're supposed to be checked every so many weeks the closer you get. And as you're getting closer, they're monitoring, they're stressing the mom out.
Yeah.
The heart rate's dropping. We're
Right.
past your due
Well,
date.
the heart
Your
rate
amniotic
slows.
fluid
That's
is
normal.
low.
The amniotic fluid gets lower because the baby gets bigger. Like
Yeah.
these are all normal things. But the medicalization of birth has caused the problems. And hospitals make a lot of money when you get a C-section.
Yeah.
They
And
make a
there
lot of
are-
money when you get Pitocin. They make a lot, you know. In a hospital, their end game is lessen the risk.
Yeah.
Lower the risk always because they don't want to be sued.
Exactly. So in
And we
their
have
defense,
a system, so
Yep.
let's
Yeah.
get it. Let's do these 5 steps and get the baby out now, instead of hope that it comes out by doing it the real way.
Get the baby out and then inject them with a bunch of stuff. And this is what we do. And the minute you say, I don't want to do that, they're like, what? What?
Yeah.
What?
bring
I
in
just got
Dr. B to go try to pressure
I just
her.
got tired of fighting.
Yeah.
Like that's why I decided to have on top of the COVID stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
I can advocate for myself. I can advocate for anybody, but at some point I'm like, I don't want it anymore.
Defending your stance is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Especially when you're in labor.
Exactly.
You're in
Well, and that's why so
pain.
many women wear down and just say whatever the doctor says, whatever they say, because you're literally in the toughest fight of your life. And it's the best fight having, in labor.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting and it's hard. But hard is not bad. But you're so focused on getting that baby out and healthy. Then when they come in with all these other things, you're just like, I don't want to fight with that anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
Right.
I have so many friends who are like so anti a lot of things going in, and then
They do it.
they do it because the doctor's just this or the nurse is just that. I remember
Yeah.
in the
And
hospital
you're
with Charlie,
vulnerable.
so vulnerable.
Yeah.
The doctors, like they sent a nurse and then a doctor and then a pediatrician, and then the head of pediatrics came in trying to tell me all these things about not taking the vitamin K shot. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, we're not. My husband was even like, well, maybe we should. I was like, What are you doing?
Go stand on that side of the room. You're with them now.
But then the nurse we had, who actually, I don't know if you remember the story, she happened to be renting Uncle Earl's house for like the past like 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Such like a weird, total like full circle thing. But she looked at me and she goes, "Don't do it if you don't want to do it." And I said, "I don't want to do it." I was like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
It's like, "So can you stop them?"
Yeah.
I remember I'm telling them to bring me the insert. I was like, "Let me read the insert." And they brought me, this is all I have. I was like, well, that's not the insert. So until you find
It was a
the
brochure.
insert. It was. It was like, didn't have anything. I was like, I was like, it's like this big. Writing's like this big. It has everything on that. When you can tell me that that's safe and that's not going to cause any problems to my child, potentially, I'll consider it. And they never came back.
Of course. That sounds medical.
It does. We had one of our neighbors, who you guys all know,
Yes.
came over to the house and was crying. Was like, "I'm just so worried about you. If it's a money thing, I'll pay for you
You're like,
To go to the hospital.
to go to the hospital." I said, "Wait a second."
like I'm paying $7,000 out of my own effing pocket
You're like, I'm
for
paying.
this lady.
Actually, I'm paying more
Yeah, we're paying.
than the hospital. What are you talking about?
And I had to I'm like, get out of here with that. But the fear.
Well,
the
but that's
fear.
how they are indoctrinated.
Yes.
Or they're taught, or whatever word you want to use. That's how they make their choices. And once you decide to remove yourself from the system, it's like you don't think that way anymore.
Yeah.
My favorite is Steph getting an fender bender. What, at like 4 months pregnant, maybe?
Yeah. 6 months.
And then I'm telling one of our neighbors, and just like,
A
oh
different
yeah, she
neighbor.
was in a little fender bender, but she's fine. She's like, oh, she needs to go to the ER now. I'm like, what are you talking about? Her placenta probably detached, and the baby's probably dying right this second.
Right now.
I was like,
Oh my gosh.
what? That's so crazy. Shut up. Go, get back in your house.
I mean, and also, okay, for those who don't know, I'm 40. I'm going to be almost 41 when I deliver this baby. And that is.
You're both technically geriatric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's terrifying.
I've been geriatric. This is my second time being geriatric.
When you hear the word geriatric, don't you just think of like, I go to the YMCA and do swim
Silver
classes.
sneakers.
I mean, those aren't so bad.
I mean, I do have silver sneakers, but that's a whole different thing.
But like immediately I'm geriatric. Yeah, I need to check my blood pressure. I need to be monitored. I'm probably going to have gestational diabetes. I'm going to test positive for strep. I need to check my heart rate. I'm
AIDS,
high
COVID,
risk. I'm
broken bones.
high risk. And finally I had to start telling even family. I said, look, what is making me high risk? Is it my age? Because if that's the only thing,
Well, someone told me once a long time ago, and I
then I'm not
repeat
high
it
risk.
now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel great. I feel better than ever at the age of 40. I mean, and thank God I didn't have a baby 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm a completely different person now.
20 years ago, this probably wouldn't be happening. Well, who's that lady?
I mean,
The thing is,
it's just
everybody that's giving you those facts, that input, that's their fear,
exactly.
and they're putting it on you.
yeah.
And
Like, take it from me.
exactly. And at some point, you have to be like, that can be your feeling, but I don't need that, and I don't want to hear it.
I have, and it's been interesting how vocal I've been. I think in front of certain people, I'm like,
Yeah, some
I
friends are
just-
like off put by how you responded to me giving
I mean,
an
I've
opinion.
hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Well,
and
I'm telling you,
started it.
once you become a
started
mother,
it.
you don't give a beep whose feelings you hurt.
That's so funny.
I told David though.
You
I
started
said, but I told him. I said, I'm just going to set the precedence
Yeah,
here.
all you're doing is setting a boundary, because if
If-
they can give an opinion,
I said, I
I
told him.
can
I
too.
said, if people cross that boundary and feel the need to share, then I have the right to share back.
Absolutely.
It's a safe space. You've opened this form of communication.
Right.
Don't be offended with my response.
people don't expect responses if they think they're right.
Oh, totally.
Well, their intentions are good. They're trying to.
I
they're-
believe
in
their intentions are good.
mind,
in their mind, their intentions are good.
Yeah.
I think their
they're
intentions
curious.
are good because they care about you at the end of the
Right,
day.
exactly.
But all of it doesn't need to be said because it's just them projecting.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
the
just
thing is,
worried
people
about you. No,
don't.
you're not.
People don't understand that the things that you think don't need to come out of your mouth.
Right.
Like most of them. Most of the thoughts in your head should just stay there.
Yeah.
If you need to get them out, write them down and throw it away. Like literally.
Scream it into a pillow.
I mean, seriously.
Put it in a fire.
Put it in a fire.
Watch
Yeah.
it burn.
Or type it out and delete it. Like I was telling
Write a note.
I was telling Frankie the other day, like if Daddy and I get in a fight or whatever, I write him a letter almost every single time. Like I type it out.
Per my last
I
email.
do. I'm like so mad. But I'm like, all the things, you know, when someone pisses you off, especially
Yeah.
like your husband, everything he's ever done that pisses you off comes right here to the front of your mind. You know, when you get in like one of those
Yeah.
big fights
Yeah,
that happen like once or twice a year, you know, but it's like I type it all out and then I read it. I'm like, what good is this going to do? Nothing.
But you had to get it out.
I have to get it out, and then I just delete it. I mean, I might leave it there for a couple weeks, and hopefully it doesn't.
Like, hopefully no one finds it.
Leave the screen open on
Unless
Bobby's
he has
pillow.
receipts at that point.
But I don't ever save it. I just get it out, you know, or write it down and burn it, whatever it is. Just you have to get it out. If you feel like you have to get something out, get it out. But you don't have to tell someone else because it's really just usually going to hurt their feelings.
And people don't forget.
No, they don't.
They don't forget.
That's how I feel about like relationship stuff where like if girlfriends come to us and bitch about their significant other, and then if you say anything negative about that guy or
Then
girl,
they're mad at you.
No, they're like, that's right. But then they get back together.
That's what I mean, yeah.
And now they're mad at you because you voiced your opinion. So
Right.
it's like now I'm like, I'm never giving an opinion on any of this because I'm like, she's going to get back with him.
Right.
So why would I say anything bad ever?
Ever.
Because people don't forget.
No, they don't.
I would say pregnancy's been a big lesson because
Big learn lesson.
I have to pee, but I'm really
By
holding
big
it.
learn lesson, you mean round learn lesson.
But I'm sure I was that annoying person to so many people. I mean,
I don't think you ever said that your placenta's detaching, your baby's dying.
I mean, no,
I'll
but I'm
pay for your
sure,
hospital
like,
visits.
Christine and I laugh about things because she's like, I can't believe you said that to me. And I mean, I've said some things that are probably really annoying to my friends and my
What-
family.
Is this okay to say to a pregnant woman?
No.
What?
You're so huge.
No.
That's been said to her
We
a million
actually did
times.
say to each other today in the pictures, like, what is that?
Well, the thing is, like, your belly's grown so much or something. Like, you look great. Let's start with the positive, maybe. But I
people
noticed
are
a lot
so
of the
annoying.
older people say to her just how big she is.
And I am.
Or Rosetta literally called her fat.
I'm 5'1". I don't have, there's no space. So this baby, I mean, maybe I'm just really big and I'm in denial of it.
Rosetta
here.
said she's meeting a new friend was like, she's normally a looker when she doesn't look like this. And we're like, oh my God.
There's just been some, and we talked to
She's like,
Hank
"What?"
today on the phone. He's
was
like,
good.
I saw it, but he you know.
Your belly's getting huge.
He
But
was like,
that's
it was
different than you're
falling
huge.
Dad bought mom a freaking,
Stupid.
what's it called? Bike. Like
Yeah.
an exercise bike for Christmas.
I
when
bought
he
her
was
one
pregnant
from you.
with me.
I bought her one from you.
But you were
I ride it
bringing
every day.
I would love to ride the Peloton.
Steph rode it 4 times since paying for it.
That's not true. I
That's
got
a really
pregnant.
expensive bike ride.
That's not true.
So I'm getting the money's worth.
I rode the crap out of that bike. But when you're pregnant, sitting on
No,
that
that
little
bike
seat,
is not.
It's
What is-
my legs are.
You make it seem like the seat's all on the ground if you're going
No, but
like
it's
this.
like it's like that.
Yeah.
And she's not like that right now.
Wait, what was that?
That's like my entire.
Well, this is when
vagina
it
right
starts.
now.
And then it,
And your legs, you can't get your legs up on a
No,
bike.
you're like this.
Yes, which just hurts your
you
knees.
look more like Geppetto than
These are my legs, though, not my.
No,
these
not
are my legs.
Pinocchio. Geppetto's the one that does
that.
this.
He's got the strings in his hands.
Okay, well, I have a question for you then.
Okay.
What have you observed from a partner's
Observed?
standpoint?
You know, I think we've seen a lot of growth.
Like, what's been your perspective?
It's
of
just been
pregnancy?
full of love. Just our
What's been changed for you, or like what?
physically or
She said
All
she's
of it.
not been emotional, right?
no. She's been super.
Not hormonal. Super even keel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a couple moments.
Yeah. None. The best is we were running a bunch of errands around town, and she just like hit a wall. She's like, "Take me home."
My iron was really low. I didn't know.
So I handed her a dumbbell. I'm like, "We'll start pumping some."
My iron was really low.
That's why you gotta eat steak, bro.
She
Well, I
does
was
now.
taking supplements, but I didn't know you had to mix iron with vitamin C. So all the iron was just going right through me, and I was exhausted.
She started freaking out in the car. She's like, "You're kidnapping me."
No,
You
you're holding
kidnapped
me
me.
hostage.
So I'm like, I have one more stop to make. She's like, "No." She reminded me of Jonah Hill from the
Get him to the Greek.
Just, no.
I was so over
She's just
it.
there, and I was laughing like this in the car. She's like mad at me that I'm laughing. I'm like, this is what they mean by hormonal. Like, I thought it was funny. I wasn't taking it personally at all.
I was so mad
But then
at
at the end of the trip, I'm like, we'll have one more stop. She's like, no. I'm like, I'll get ice cream, and she's like, fine, I want chocolate. And then
I didn't even
we
want
swung
the
by,
ice cream.
got ice cream, and went home. It was easy.
I was so tired.
And
I
then,
was like,
but after the anger, the next day she laughed like I did. I
Yeah.
was like, see,
but the more you laugh when someone's in a hormonal state, you're like, I saw red. I threatened to kick him out of the car and throw him over the bridge, the Destin Bridge. I was like, I'm going to throw you out of this car.
I was like, no, you're not.
That's what I tell people all the time, like the husbands and baby daddies. I'm like, just don't fight with your wife.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't. I was like, okay.
Just don't. Because Bobby and I had, especially the first time, we had a lot of tiffs because he would take it personal, you know, and just each pregnancy's gotten so much better. But I'm like, I swear we need to write a book about like how there's a million books for moms, new moms, how to do this. I was like, I want to write a book for dads because they need to know, like,
They're not going to read it.
Your wife.
Is this on Audible?
I can't even get him to watch a 2-minute training video. He's like, this is horrible. Or like the woman's moaning and he's like,
she was mad about that. She goes, this is what you have to watch. And I'm listening. It made me laugh because she's like, and I was like, she's like, it's not funny. I'm like, it kind of is.
Our guy's we have to, okay, I support
maybe
you
we
writing
should
a
have
book.
podcast about it.
Yes. Something maybe.
But I just mean like boys, men.
Boys.
They don't have
Boys to men.
a guideline. They don't have a
We'd start
book.
a
Like we
band.
have a million books of, you know, what to expect when you're expecting and like all the other things.
Dad-specting.
Dads don't.
No.
I mean, maybe it's because dads wouldn't read them.
Right.
But
Well, now men can get pregnant, so we can do it all.
okay, sounds good. But you know, I just feel like men need to understand. Like I talk to my friends all the time, and like, men just need to know, like, your wife's, she's gonna be crazy. Like, there's gonna be moments of crazy, and you need to stay not crazy.
How to deal with crazy. That's the title of the book.
Yeah, crazy pregnant lady.
Or maybe like a training course for men led by men, where it's like grab a beer,
that's
sit
what
down,
Bobby
Dad.
and I was like, I'll write it, but you're gonna do the teaching because people don't want to hear from me. They want to hear from.
It's like it has to be a like
Man to
on the
man.
grounds course. You
Exactly.
Go, you fly out. 12 men enter an arena. It's just like you make it.
I mean, great.
It's like steak, beer, workouts,
Right.
and shooting archery, and then at the
And
end
then,
of
by the
every
way,
day,
this is how
you
you-
have to do written
Yes.
curriculum. We're like, oh, boo, come on.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
No, I really do believe that like men need more support and training and from other men because it is like the coolest, most impactful thing you'll do in your entire life is become a dad. Like without a doubt. I mean, women, we really feel pregnant, obviously because we are, but we feel the connection from the minute it happens.
Yeah. So
Dads
true.
do. Some dads do, some dads don't. But the minute that baby is out in the world, it's like, holy SHIT. This thing is my responsibility, you know? Like, and then their job is to take care of the wife, I think, more than anything in the beginning and support the wife because that your wife or girlfriend or whatever is taking care of the baby. Like you want to take care of the baby, but especially nowadays, or not just nowadays, but if they're breastfeeding and everything, there's only so much you can do. Baby wants mama. Period. So you need to take care of the other kids or feed her or clean or whatever, you know, like you need to just support her. And if she's acting crazy, just go in the other room or, you know, like don't engage.
Because the women lose that big they have that big hormonal drop, right?
Hormones go up and then they go down and it's just like, we're dysregulated for a while, you know?
And you're still talking about pregnancy or just an average Tuesday?
It's basically forever. So don't fight with your wife is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But especially
let them be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. pretty
Let 'em
much.
be, and that's another thing. You're kind of tapping into a conversation that I love that you have a lot with your friends and your family. Is postpartum is so important because so many people come over and say, "Oh, I just can't. I'll hold the baby and you go do what you need to do."
No, bitch.
Which
Go
I
clean
have
my
said
house.
to so many people. I'm like, "I'll hold the baby. You go do what you need," because you think that's being helpful,
Right.
And what is it that you do? Because you've really opened my eyes to
What are
that.
expectations versus what you really need as
Yeah.
a mom?
Oh yeah, no.
How can people show up? For
I
a
remember
mom
showing up
postpartum?
to my best friend's house after she had, I forget if it was Madden or the twins. But either way, for one, I show up to the hospital with a bottle of champagne for the mom. Let's celebrate you and what you just did. And then when first time I go over visit the house, I bring a meal that's already prepared, not something I'm going to cook in their kitchen. I bring a bottle of wine, and then I clean their house. Like I literally went to Colette's house one day I think it was after the twins, and I just started clean. She was on the couch with one of the babies, and I just started cleaning her kitchen. She's like, "You don't have to do that." I was like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I might not put stuff away where it goes, but I'm going to tidy up for you because you have babies that you need to take care of. That's not the cleaning the house. I know we all want the house to be clean, but our priorities are the baby. That's what people always tell me, like, oh, pregnancy, I was like, pregnancy for me is easy. Postpartum is harder because I just I want to become like I just want to lay there with my baby. You know, you don't want to do 10,000 other things, but you still feel the weight of the 10,000 other things on you.
And your partner's expectations or family.
Right.
And they're just like waiting for you to get up and you're like,
Exactly.
don't have that expectation.
Right. And so it's really, really helpful. My mom was really good about it. She like, when we lived far away, she lived with us for a month and she was like, you know, she'd cook and she'd clean and she'd help with the laundry and, you know, she'd hold the baby only when she was like, go take a shower.
Yeah.
You know, like you go take, because that's another thing. Like we can easily get sucked into not taking care of us at all because we just want to take care of that baby. But we need to, you know, my mom was very good about helping me make sure I shower every day, change my clothes, put a little bit of makeup on, go outside, you know, just do something for myself, even if it's literally a walk around the block for 20 minutes. Getting outside, because if you're inside, like, and doing nothing but hanging out with your baby, which is not a bad thing, but it can become just all in cold, you know, you just become obsessed with that.
Yeah.
And you don't get outside and you don't take care of yourself, and all of a sudden, you know, you see that.
And the baby needs to get outside
Exactly.
too. Otherwise, it's just going to turn into a little you and never leave the house.
And well, exactly. But it's just true, you know, you just have to get back on some kind of routine. I know it's very like,
How fast?
well, I mean, it's not your normal routine, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you should take care of yourself too.
Well, our midwife says 5, 5, 5. You do 5 days in the bed, 5 days around the bed, 5 days out of the bed.
That sounds insane.
They want you to heal. You've just gone through like the most
Did you spend
intense.
5 days in bed?
No.
I don't know if I'll be able to.
And so 10 days later, you're just going to the living
You're not
room?
like they're just saying rest.
Probably because you're
essentially.
geriatric.
Yeah, for sure. Just old ladies.
Yeah.
No, but they do. There's so many different.
Some women do 40 days.
Yeah, I'm not that way.
40 days in the bed.
I would go crazy.
Have another baby by then.
We could talk about that. Do you want anybody
I have a
near
question,
you?
though,
No.
relating to the father thing.
Yeah.
When do you start to gain that trust? And I know it's easier because you've had 5, but with Frankie or RJ up front, it's your little precious being, and now you're handing it off to your partner to be able to like trust him with the baby, not to mess up the
Right.
baby,
Kill the baby.
disappear with the baby, and the other. Like, when's that trust come where you're like, I can let the baby out of my sight?
I don't know. I was really bad.
Were you?
But now Sonny's running in the
helicopter.
street, so
This term helicopter mom.
No, I don't think I'm a helicopter mom at all. Because I mean, I feel like my kids, I let them play. I let them, you know, be outside
When they're babies, though, newborn.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I
like
think
when's
it's
that trust come in when they're young? I'm saying.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I feel like I trusted my mom more than I trusted my husband with Frankie, for sure. You know, especially your first, you're just so on edge, you know, because it's the first time, you know, like you say, it's the first time you've done it. I was young, you know, and I don't know. I don't really know. I trusted him, but it was also like
Don't
you
hold
said,
his head like that,
Yeah,
or her head like
exactly.
that,
Or
stuff like
hold
that.
their head.
Right. Or like, you know, it's,
Bubbles.
you know, you're not doing it right. And it's a very hard thing for us. I feel like, especially women, just, it's hard to trust them to take care of the kid the way the baby that you would, you know, and just because their way's
Control.
different doesn't mean it's wrong. But that's really hard.
Yeah, you're gonna have to help me.
Because you're wrong.
I don't know. Actually, in my mind, I feel like David's gonna be probably better at it than I am, even though he brags that he's never changed a diaper and he's not starting now.
You never change any of my kids' diapers?
Nope.
Really?
I said, good luck, brother.
You're
Do you know
changing-
Richard Sellers
you're
never
changing
changed
a
a
lot of
diaper in
diapers.
his life?
Well, that's why he's divorced. So there's that.
Exactly.
Shots fired.
Go ahead, babe. You enjoy that. Not changing
He also
diapers.
says that he doesn't pay attention to the kid till they could do anything, till like 2.
2 or 3.
And that's why he's
that's the
divorced.
other thing. Exactly. But that's the other thing too. You know, people say about newborns, it's only the mom. It's not even just newborns. Like, especially if you do breastfeed, like dads can't do much for the baby for a while. You know, like, and with each kid that I've had, right around 2 is when they want to hang out with dad. You know, like,
Yeah.
They really just want mom all the time, and Sonny still wants me all the time, but like he does go to dad too. You know, he's like, once they hit that 2-year mark, they're more willing to go to the father, because mom is just everything. It's their food source. It's their comfort source. It's, puts them to bed, wakes them up. It's like the whole nine.
When the breastfeeding weans off, they start looking elsewhere like, well, I guess I might as well go check out something else.
I mean.
Now RJ.
Yeah, RJ.
Looking for candy. As soon as he couldn't have milk, he was looking for sugar.
But I mean, it's true. Like, I breastfed all my kids to at least a year. Sonny was almost 2. Yeah, he was almost 2. But either way, just right around 2 years old is when I've noticed with all my kids is they're like, all right, dad's cool too. You know? Like,
who's this guy half the time? 2 years of who's that roommate?
Well, like, how could dad show up to help moms in postpartum and to bond and to like gain trust from the women?
Yeah, I mean, just helping, help your wife and don't wait to be asked to help.
Cook,
step
clean.
in, cook the way she wants you to cook, clean the way she wants you to clean, to help with the baby the way she wants you to hold the baby.
Let her shower.
Do you hear what you're saying? Do the things we want without asking what we want. Cook what we want without asking what we want for dinner.
Just
use
say,
the ingredients, but don't ask what ingredients.
Just say yes, dear. And if
what do you want?
If you go in the other room and do something else, I mean, just take care of the baby. But like, just appease us for a while, especially while we're postpartum and our hormones are all crazy. Yeah. Just,
I saw this reel.
It's not worth fight. Even if you disagree,
what?
Just be like, okay, and then go in the other room and put the baby down.
There was a reel I watched yesterday where it was like, can you hold the baby while I shower? And the dad literally is like walking around following the wife all around the house holding the baby, like while she's showering, while she's folding clothes, while she's cooking, and he's just standing there with her. It's like, don't do that, guys.
No, of course not.
Give her a minute to catch her breath. I would think. I mean, I don't know. I'm in for it.
No, and the thing is, like, I don't want to not be with my baby.
Right.
Like, I love being with my kids.
Yeah.
Especially when they're babies, and like, I baby wear, I do the whole thing. But, for the first few weeks at least, take the initiative and continue that. Like, you may not have to do all of it forever, but continue helping where you can. My husband and I, we've had lots of ups and downs, with learning that, as most people do. But, like, we're a team, there's no, like, gender roles in our house. He'll vacuum, he'll unload the dishwasher. I mean, there is a gender role. I do not take out the trash can. He does.
Same.
I will not take out the trash.
Your house is what's it? Unisex.
Unisex. I will not take out the trash. Everything else, he unloads the dishwasher. I do. I cook. He does dishes. He cooks.
You mow the lawn. You do the irrigation. I get it.
No,
you change
everything
the tire.
inside the house.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I did tell Frankie. I was like, I can do all that stuff. I really can. I was like, I just married a man that can too, so I don't have to.
Right.
Like, because Frankie learns.
Si se puede.
She learns. She was wiring stuff with dad last week, and it's like, I want you to know these things.
For sure.
And I used to be, and I still can be very, I don't know, I did something recently and like built it or whatever. She goes, wow. I'm like, honey, I can do all these things. I just married a man that can, so I don't have to.
Right.
And, daddy can cook, but I cook 90% of the time because I enjoy it, and it's just, it's a give and take for sure. But it's like, I want my kids to know how to do all the things. And my sons are seeing, daddy do laundry and wipe off the counters and like do the dishes after dinner. And, every kid has to put their own dish in the dishwasher. It's like, we're a family unit. Everybody has to contribute. So, and I really do think that really starts to shine when you have kids, because you can't, when it's just two of you, it's like easy to like, this is my job. I'll cook, you do the dishes, whatever. But at some point it becomes like, it's nobody's job. It's everybody's job, right?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-oh.
So you're an entrepreneur, mother, and advocate. At what point, because you own your own business, there's no maternity leave for business owners?
No.
How do you balance that? Because we own our business. We work from home. I am removing myself hopefully for a few weeks. I don't know how long I'm going to need or get, or how do you transition into that? And how do you get out of work and back into work? And how do you survive as a business owner?
There's no such thing as balance. It's true. Some days you're heavy on the mom, some days you're heavy on the work, and each day you're going to feel guilty for something. And you just have to know that you're doing the best you can every single day.
Did you give yourself a break from work?
A couple days.
Or
I remember texting one of my biggest clients when I was in labor with RJ, being like, oh man, I forgot to get you this bid. I'm in labor right now. Like, I'll get it to you next week. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, go have your baby, okay? Don't worry about it. I can wait a couple weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And
You're Zoom calling with a
Literally.
fake background. You're like, like, what's wrong? Nothing.
Yeah.
I
giving
remember
birth.
I had a really great nanny, Chelsea, when
she was great.
when RJ was born. And I just went right back into work. Like, I don't remember a lot of RJ's first few months, just because I was like so busy and I went right back into everything. And I mean, I remember he never took a bottle. Thank God, because Chelsea would be like, okay, it's time for him to take a nap. And I would go get him and nurse him. And like, that was our like
That was your
everyday
time.
quality time. And I'm like, thank God for that, because that's what I remember. Even if I was in the middle of something and I was annoyed, like I need to get this bit out or whatever, like I had to stop. I had to slow down and I had to just be present with him and nurse him and put him down for a nap. But it's like, you know, in the moment, you're so caught up in whatever you're doing. It's like, this is so inconvenient. But it's like, you're right. Kids are inconvenient, but who cares? They're the best things in the whole world. And so when I got pregnant with Charlie, I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not. I was like, I told my parents, who are my business partners, I was like, I'm letting you know, I'm taking 4 weeks off. I'm going to get as much done as I can. And yes, of course, if there's things you need to call me about or whatever, like I can do phone calls occasionally, but I'm going to be here with my baby. And I don't want to forget this because I don't get it back.
4 weeks, you think, is a good window?
Well, just to like give yourself the full immersion, and don't go back fully, you know, at 4 weeks, but you know, you can start dabbling and just seeing how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, take the phone calls and you know what? Like, I mean, I am home with my kids. I homeschool my kids and I run my own business, and we have the Airbnb, like, and a couple other, like, we have a lot of businesses that we do. And guess what? I take a call and I've got kids yelling in the background. It's my company. I don't care.
My employees are underage. It's fine.
They're illegal. It's fine. No, but like, I remember my husband, he used to work for another company, and he's always like, shh, I gotta go in the other room. And I'm like, I was like, I get it. You work for somebody else. You know, that's your rules at your company. He worked with hospitals and stuff. And me, I'm like, well, I mean, you got construction site in the background, or you got kids in the background, it's like, and my clients, like, they know that, they know now, but I was just like, this is my life, They're like, you homeschool and you're pregnant again? And like, I'm like, yes, I am. And guess what? I'm still getting the job done. Yeah. So, it's just whatever, if you're good at your job, you're good at whatever, you can make it all work. And it seems impossible. People are like, how do you have 5 kids and 3 businesses and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you just do. I don't have a secret recipe. Yeah. The secret recipe is hard work and prioritizing things. And my kids are my most important thing, and my husband, my family, So it's like, we're going to do whatever it takes to keep us as the core. And then hopefully everything else will just kind of grow from there.
And I feel like it does. It has. You do a really good job. You're very intentional.
I try.
Yeah. I mean, you probably do, but from the outside, it's like, it just looks so easy.
It's not easy. It takes discipline, you know? A lot of it. A lot of discipline, Like, I don't want to get up every day at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, but I do. And I,
take advantage of that time.
Take advantage of the quiet time. I mean, you think you're busy before you have kids. And then you're like, what did I do?
It's so true. I think of that whenever I'm having a lazy moment. I go, I can't do this in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm just be lazy. Let me enjoy it.
But also a part of me is like, I can't enjoy this. I got to get up and do something, because I'm like, I mentally need to train myself to not think that I can have these moments.
Yeah.
But you will.
Yeah.
And this,
of course,
like I was telling you the other day, right? The next 6 to 12 weeks of your life are going to be the best you've ever had. And it's going to be the only time you guys are going to have that with just one newborn baby, or just one baby. Like, don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like, just
stay present.
Be present. People are like, oh my gosh, newborn time's so hard. It's not hard.
I don't know. I like my sleep.
People always say, like, you think it's the hardest, and then you have a 2-year-old and you realize that was the easiest.
I like sleep, but I've learned I don't need as much. I mean, pregnant, I only need a good solid 3.
She doesn't sleep at all anymore. Every time, if I roll over in the middle of the night or I do something, go to the bathroom, I can like feel her sliding around. I'm like, she's awake. And it's no matter what time of the night. She's awake.
He's up. He's like,
Yeah.
and he's got the hiccups, and it's not like you just roll over. You're up.
Oh yeah, she's
moving.
like, Humpty Dumpty, here we come. Left side.
It is like Humpty Dumpty. It's like a giant
Just
egg.
don't fall off the wall.
Yeah,
It is.
But then when he gets out of bed, Blue gets in the bed to snuggle with me, and I have the best 3 hours of sleep.
Well, let's wrap this thing up. It's Saturday.
Okay.
It's probably the last and final podcast before there's 2 more babies in this room from you two.
Oh shoot!
So
We're gonna have some babies.
it's gonna be fun.
I know, and I love that we've been able to do it together. And
I know.
You
I
really,
can't believe it.
You've been such a great resource for us. You've helped us advocate for ourselves. I've gotten to see over the last 12 years of how you have mothered and how you've stood up for yourself. And it's just, I think the timing's perfect for us because we've gotten to live vicariously through you to do it. And I'm sorry you had to go through it all
No, it's okay.
without our perspective around it. But
all
it's been,
good. I'm happy to do it.
you've been very inspirational to so many people. And I know that, even my friends talk about it. They're like, how does she do it? So it's just really cool. We appreciate you and appreciate all your wisdom that you share and how you really are an advocate. You're great at it, and you're a great mom, great business owner, great wife, great
Thank you.
sister-in-law, great sister.
Thank you.
This has been great. Great podcast interview today.
Love you guys.
Love
We
you.
love
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And if people want to find out more about you,
Finding joy on the daily. Finding joy in the daily. Not on the daily.
Finding joy in the daily.
works.
Finding joy in the daily.
You do it ASMR like finding joy in the daily.
What does ASMR mean?
It is. I don't know what it stands for.
All sounds must really record.
I don't know. It's
Blue
pretty
stretching.
good.
All right. Let's go. See
Love you.
ya.
Bye.
See ya.